why do you still want to live in Japan? I mean, like, out of so many countries in the world, why Japan? This is honestly one thing that a lot of people back in my country, as well as Japanese people in general, always want to know. And this is what I have to say to them. Hi, I'm Prachi. I am an Indian. I've been living in Japan for over 3 years now. It's actually been 3.5 plus years. I never thought I would be making a video to address this question, but here we are. So these are my top 5 points why I feel Japan is the most lovable, adorable country to me. My top 5 reasons why I love Japan. Life in Japan is medically insured. That means anybody who lives in Japan falls under the public health system, which is awesome because each time you visit a hospital, you don't have to pay your entire bill. 70% of it is what the government is going to assure, and 30% is what we pay from our own pockets. Life in Japan is insured to an extent that right now, in the time of coronavirus, Japanese government has made sure that they are paying 1 lakh yen, not just to Japanese people or foreign residents, but also to homeless people. My second point is hygiene and perfection. Now, talking about hygiene, whenever I think about hygiene, the two things that come to my mind are cleanliness in restaurants or while cooking food in general, and toilets. Both the things are taken care so well in Japan. Talking about public toilets, if you just Google about it, I think you'll find so much content on how people feel while using public toilets in Japan. Like, that image of a public toilet is so bad. You know what I mean, right? The reason I compiled hygiene and perfection is because I think perfection is the reason why things are so hygienic in Japan. Just click a picture randomly and you'll just realize, oh, it's aesthetically so pleasing. Everything is so beautifully laid. Everything has been thought and planned to make it the way it is. While walking on the road, if I end up clicking picture randomly, I post it on my Insta stories or on my other social media handles. By default, they're always pretty. The pictures look good. Call it good architecture or just call it well-planned designing of Japanese things, places. And I can't even stress enough how cool it is to never get late for work just because you know your trains are always running in time. And by default, if they do end up getting late, like, you can ask for this paper that basically says that it wasn't you who got late, it was the train that was late. Does your country provide that? My third point is hospitality. People often mistakenly mix kindness with hospitality, but Japanese hospitality is amazing. It's not just making you feel good in the moment, it's the memories you take from that. Like, you just enter a store and someone greets you with konnichiwa, irashaimase, and things like those. You feel it. That smile, that just always beaming smile. Sometimes it gets awkward because you don't want an apology. It's okay, but people would still apologize. I can tell you so many extreme cases of being super apologetic in Japan. So, few years ago, my mom was in Japan with me and we were just crossing the road near my house. And there was this old lady who was actually just, riding her bicycle. She kind of crossed our way. She said sumimasen for that. And my mom was like, what did she do something? Why did she say sumimasen? Because I told my mom that sumimasen means sorry, which isn't true actually. Sumimasen has a lot of meanings to it, but almost sorry. My fourth point is convenience. I've already spoken about transportation, the timings of the trains in particular, but also there are convenience stores everywhere. In my residential area, there are 4 convenience stores within 15 minutes of my walk, and 2 of them are just 5 minutes away from me right now. No matter what I need, I can just go any time of the day. Midnight, I can just go and get it. There's the convenience of choices, as well as whatever you're paying for, you're getting the quality. It's not like you pay a certain amount and then you realize, oh, it's not even worth it. No, not happening in Japan. Last year, I wanted to open another bank account. I even had a choice on how I wanted my passbook to look like. So I chose the one with cartoons, but I could have chosen other colors or other designs as well. So Where do you get so many choices? If you want to dress up like a doll or a clown, just go ahead. You can still move out, you can still go out. People won't call you with names for that. It's just okay. Some people might not like you for that, but who cares? You're anyway, nobody's liking you anyway. And my last point is economic disparity, which you don't see much in Japan. Like, of course there are people who are superbly rich, and of course there are people who are really poor, but visually, like superficially, if you look at the society, everybody can afford everything. There's a lot of things I actually wanted to talk about, but I realized these were just my experiences and a lot of people have different experiences. I think Japan has least racism. Like, if I compare Japan with other countries, I think it has very less racism. Honestly, I have never experienced racism in Japan, but I do know people who have experienced those kind of racist comments and situations. Another thing I feel is kind of cool is finding part-time jobs, because it's so easy to find part-time jobs. Of course, in the times of coronavirus, it has definitely become difficult and people have lost their part-time jobs as well. But that being said, I would say when the life is normal, everything is good, in Japan, getting a part-time job is easy. You get paid well. You can survive on a part-time job, and a lot of people, a lot of students do that. And another thing I would quickly mention is, like, Japanese culture feels so close to Indian culture. The way they respect their elderly and the shrines and everything, the Shintoism factor, there's a lot of relatability. So whenever I think about that, I just feel like I am still in India, but a developed India. If you know what I mean. Of course, like any other country, Japan has its own problems. For example, people have complained that there is no work-life balance in Japan, and I agree to that. It does happen with a lot of people in Japan, even with the Japanese. Japan is disaster prone. You never know when an earthquake would come. People speak Japanese here, so if you're living or planning to live in Japan, you need to learn Japanese language at some point, at least the basics of it. It is just important. And of course, there are policy related issues that a lot of researchers talk about. I guess I can just keep on talking about Japan. Honestly, in this video, I have just touched the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to all the things I've mentioned so far. I hope this video gives you a perspective on Japan. Please consider subscribing if you would like to see more of me. Hit that notification bell, and I would leave all my social media handles right below. Thank you for watching this video till here, and take care.